In Masonry, we learn that charity is the chief of every social virtue and the distinguishing characteristic of Masons. That to relieve the distressed is a duty incumbent on all men, but particularly on Masons. As early as the beginning of the present century, Oklahoma Masons were putting these teachings into practice. In 1900, Brother Henry N. Furman of Ardmore started a movement for an orphanage in the then Indian Territory. This was opened in 1907 at Atoka. In Oklahoma Territory Grand Lodge, a similar movement had been started by Brother William L. Eagleton. At the time of the consolidation of the two territories and the two Grand Lodges in 1909, Most Worshipful H. L. Muldrow of Norman was Grand Master of the Indian Territory Grand Lodge, and by acclamation was made Grand Master of the new Grand Lodge of Oklahoma. No Mason in Oklahoma has lived a life as completely intertwined with the fraternity as he. His imprint is heavy on everything that has to do with Masonry in this state. He is still active in good works today and serves as the Secretary of the Masonic Charity Foundation of Oklahoma. Brother Muldrow was associated with the orphanage at Atoka and was a prime factor in the consolidation movement which brought the two Grand Lodges together. At the time of consolidation, the combined funds available for orphan relief amounted to $113,000. A new home for children was built at Darlington. It soon became evident that Masons must provide some help for old folk as well as children. A few old folks were admitted to the children's home. It was recognized that separate homes for the younger and older folk were desirable. When funds became available in 1922, work was started on two separate buildings in Guthrie. A visit to these homes justifies a feeling of pride in the heart of every member of the Masonic fraternity and the Eastern Star in the state, for all have had a part in their building and support. The children's home is located on a large tract of land on the northern edge of Guthrie. The administration building in the center contains the offices, parlor, and library, all beautifully decorated and furnished. On the right of the administration building are the dormitories for the girls. The girls are divided into groups according to ages, and each one has her own room, which she must take care of under the supervision of a matron. Plans are underway now for converting a part of the dormitories now unused into a hospital section to provide for the overflow from the home for the aged. Here is the vocational building, erected by the Grand Chapter of Royal Arch Masons in 1935. It was furnished and equipped in large part by the Eastern Star. The land for the homes, comprising 27 acres, was given by the consistory. The buildings are set in the midst of beautiful trees, flower beds, and well-kept lawns. The boy and his dog find the lawns a perfect place in which to run and play. From the rear, we get an impressive view of all the buildings. We see the boys' dormitory, where each boy has his own room, with furniture arranged according to his own ideas. Common living rooms are provided for each group, and here, too, trained and helpful matrons are in charge. On the third floor of the administration building are located the infirmary and the hospital room. The dining room and kitchen with their modern equipment occupy the east end of the building. Here are provided living quarters for the kitchen staff and dining room matron. Here also is the power and heating plant. Immediately back of the administration building is a well-kept flower garden where the children find an opportunity to work with growing things. The Masonic Charity Foundation of Oklahoma is a holding and operating company, chartered under the laws of the state of Oklahoma as a charitable trust. The corporation consists of 21, 15 Master Masons elected by the Grand Lodge, and 5 representing other state Masonic bodies, and a representative of the Grand Chapter of the Order of Eastern Star completes the membership of 21. The foundation has the responsibility of supervising the investment of all funds. It has been able to command the services of some of the ablest business and professional men in the state, all of whom serve without financial compensation. The management of the home wisely stresses the importance of recreation. A well-equipped playground with merry-go-rounds, jungle gyms, slides, swings, and teeters provides the children with relaxation and exercise. An indoor swimming pool is located between the administration building and the girls' dormitories. Every possible care is taken to assure the purity of the water and the safety of the swimmers. Periods of use of the pool are set aside every day during the summer for boys and girls alike. On the playground, boys enjoy rough and tumble games. Every effort is made by the management to have this a home in a real sense. It is not an institution, but a home where children learn to live, work, and play together under the kindly guidance of those in charge. The happy faces of the children and their fun on the playground are evidence of the results attained. Here we see the girls of the home family lined up to greet us. Many of them are wearing clothes which they themselves have made as part of their training. Most of the members of the home family stay here until they're 18 years old. They attend the public schools in Guthrie and participate in many activities in the city. When they are graduated from the home, they go out into the world on their own, some to college, others to work in jobs for which they've been fitted by the training received in the home. As we look at this splendid group of young people, we rejoice to have had a part in the constructive work of building character and citizenship. It takes but little imagination to think what might have happened to some of them were it not for the opportunities given to them here. Some would have been in public institutions. Some would have drifted aimlessly throughout their youthful years. Some might have become charges on society. Here they have laid foundations on which successful lives can be built. Youths of character are the greatest wealth of a nation. Many of the boys in these pictures have been in the armed forces during the war. They have acquitted themselves well. On our service flag are 51 stars, one of which is gold. The work started at Atoka in 1907 with 3 children has grown through the years. While the home does not have as many members now as at the time these pictures were made, it is probable that with the end of the war, the size of the home family will greatly increase. There will be many homes to which the father will never return. Widowed mothers may no longer be able to care for their families. We must plan now to care for more children, to give them the care and education they deserve. This might well be an animated advertisement for one of Oklahoma's famous products, the watermelon. But it's more than that. It's but another evidence of the thoughtfulness of our representatives in charge of the home in planning to give the children a happy time. Who wouldn't be happy with a large piece of ripe, luscious watermelon to add to his pleasure? Suppers on the table in the yard during the summer months and picnics provided by different groups make a delightful change for the children from the usual meals in the dining room. It should be added that the beautiful new decorated dining room gives a setting for the scientifically prepared and attractively served meals which make for healthy boys and girls. Again, we visit the vocational building, for an important part of the training given by the home is in the practical arts. Not only do the children do their part in keeping their rooms clean and orderly, but they learn the fundamentals of useful trades which help them when they leave. Here in the shoe shop, the boys learn how to repair the many pairs of shoes of the family, and how shoes do wear out when boys and girls are as active as these we have seen. The boys learn to work with their hands, and at the same time come to understand the dignity of manual labor. A modern woodworking shop is also a part of the vocational school equipment. The products you see here were made by one boy who was especially artistic and delighted in turning out such work as this. The print shop is a very lively place and is well known to Oklahoma Masons through the print jobs it does for them. Here is the folding machine on which publications like the Masonic Home News are folded, for this is the home of that monthly paper. In addition, much printing is done for the Grand Lodge as well as for many other Masonic bodies. No outside printing is taken, so the print shop is not in competition with commercial plants. Boys who learn this trade here are able to secure well-paying positions when they leave the home. Many of the Masonic bodies throughout the state patronize the print shop to the advantage of themselves as well as the home. The entire job of publishing the annual proceedings for all the bodies, the Masonic Home News, Many programs, cards, receipts, and stationery is done on these various machines. The print shop is under the direction of Brother Ralph F. Brown. Regular commercial rates are charged for the printing. Here, as in all of the work done in the vocational building, the boys and girls are paid at specified rates for the work they do. This money is held in trust and is available for their education later on. Each of these boys is now the proud possessor of at least one bond in his own name. Thus they combine thriftiness and patriotism. If education is learning by doing, we are thus providing effective training for these youths. At the same time, they're laying up funds for themselves. They are making a social contribution to the home family as a whole. Another phase of vocational training is in the cleaning and pressing room. Modern machinery fits the boys for work in modern cleaning and pressing plants. The practical training of the girls for family life is not neglected. There is a domestic science kitchen with modern cooking equipment where they learn how to make attractive and palatable dishes. Discussions and meal planning and food values prove helpful. In the sewing room, the girls are taught how to make and remodel their own clothes, and thus are able to add materially to their wardrobes. In the dormitory of each group of boys and girls is a large living room attractively furnished by the Grand Chapter of the Eastern Star. Here the residents of the dormitory have a common meeting place. They gather to enjoy each other's company, to play and sing, and sometimes to have general discussions. Let's visit the bedroom of one of the girls, which is typical of all, for each member of the home family has a room alone. They're all very attractive, with simple but beautiful furniture. Each girl can arrange the furniture to suit her individual tastes, and can have her own belongings and decorations to add a personal touch to the room. Each one is responsible for keeping her room clean and neat. The dormitories have the appearance of college buildings where the occupant of each room is free to express individual preferences and tastes, but where all enjoy living together. One of the activities of every boy in the Guthrie High School is in the Reserve Officers Training Corps. Guthrie is the only city in this state which requires this training. Whether marching in the ranks, acting as non-commissioned or commissioned officers, they learn the fundamentals of military science. There is engendered in them the sense of responsibility which every citizen of a democracy should have toward the country which gives him so many privileges and opportunities. They learn the great lesson of teamwork, all for each and each for all. As the boys return from training, they pause for the impressive flag-raising ceremony on the home grounds. Here we are helping to develop the elements of good citizenship. Here we are helping to build the America of tomorrow. Slowly and reverently, Old Glory is raised to the top of the flagpole. To the colors is blown by the buglers, while the students stand at attention. How proudly the flag of our country waves in the breeze. Oklahoma Masons have provided not only for the children of brethren who otherwise would be homeless, but have extended their act of philanthropy to those who have turned toward life's setting sun. Many, by force of circumstance and through no fault of their own, are facing life without friends or families with whom they can pass their last years. As has been pointed out, a small beginning was made at Darlington when it was found necessary to provide help for aged folk. 13 men and women were admitted to the home which had been provided for children. When it was decided to move to Guthrie, it was found possible to establish the 2 separate homes needed for these different groups. Wise planners erected the homes we have at present. Let us now make a brief visit to the home for the aged. The Oklahoma Consistory donated its old temple and land in the heart of Guthrie to the Grand Lodge. Here was constructed the beautiful, comfortable, well-planned building which now houses the Home for the Aged. It is modern in design and convenient in location. Nearly 100